Picture it, if you will. You hear the creak of an old attic door, a faint rustle of dust, and then the unmistakable thump of something that definitely wasn't alive. Today, we are heading to Winter River, population 2 ghosts, 1 goth teenager, and a bio-exorcist with the worst business ethics in the afterlife. It's a place where the dead file paperwork, the living redecorate with reckless abandon, and saying someone's name 3 times is basically equivalent of opening a cursed email. We are talking Beetlejuice. Tim Burton's stop-motion fever dream, suburban satire and gateway drug for every kid who grew up thinking being strange and unusual was a personality type. So grab your handbook for the recently deceased, avoid the sandworms at all costs, and whatever you do, don't make eye contact with the guy in the striped suit. Welcome to the Moviescramble podcast. Today is another in our collab episodes where we talk to a film fan, podcaster, writer, whatever, about a film that ignited their love for cinema, movies, and all things silver screen. Today, if you haven't guessed already, we are talking about the 1988 film Beetlejuice from director Tim Burton. We are joined, as always, by the ever delightful Mary. Mary, how the hell are you doing?
I look like I've come from the handbook of the recently deceased, but I'm really excited to talk about this film.
Oh, yes, dear listener, Mary is fishing for a compliment, and she, no doubt she will get one at some point during this conversation. We are also joined today by Amy. Amy, how the hell are you doing?
I'm not too bad.
Excellent. Looking forward to a discussion here. So, as I say, we are talking all things Beetlejuice, Tim Burton's second major film release. Film stars Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Michael Keaton, Catherine O'Hara, and Winona Ryder. It's regarded as being the film that really propelled Tim Burton into the stratosphere after the breakout hit of Pee-wee's Big Adventure and led to a stellar career within Hollywood for him. Amy, where and when did you first see Beetlejuice?
I think I saw Beetlejuice for the first time when I was 13. I was over at my friend's house and her mum had said, have you ever seen it? And being the alternative girl that I was, I think she knew exactly what she was doing. So that's the first time I ever saw it, and I have watched it ever since, really.
Nice. Mary, what about yourself?
So I remember seeing copies of this in the video shop, that's how old I am, when I was wee, and thinking it was an out-and-out horror film, because I remember seeing it maybe when I was like 5 or 6, and the front cover looked really scary. So I didn't actually watch it until I was maybe like mid-teens, because I'd spent so long thinking it was like a proper scary horror film. But I think I was maybe like, somebody maybe had a video copy, maybe I can't remember if it was at a friend's house, maybe at my cousin's, and we watched it. And then I realised, obviously, it was like a whole lot of fun. There is obviously some scary elements in it as well. I can imagine if you were really wee and you watched this, it would have been quite terrifying. But yeah, it's become one of these iconic sort of pieces of pop culture where there's memes. There's obviously been a sequel. It's such an iconic like character design. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to chatting about it today.
Nice. I saw it round about 1989. I didn't see it at the cinema. I saw it just after it when it actually came out on video cassette, of all things. And I probably rented it round about that time. I remember all the talk about it and all the publicity and sort of the performance from Michael Keaton, which we will go into quite shortly. But yes, I was very taken with it because I had heard about Tim Burton before then, but never actually seen anything. And this obviously drew me to him, and then obviously went on from there. I've pretty much seen everything he's done since then. So I'm assuming that both of you have either watched it recently or it's still very fresh in memory. So Amy, what struck you this time the most about this rewatch? Was it the comedy, the world building, or just the batshit weirdness of it?
I think it's just the weirdness. It's also the first time I've actually rewatched it since Catherine O'Hara passed as well. So I found that a little bit difficult. I was like, oh. But yeah, it's just still just as weird and wonderful and funny. And I still identify with Lydia so much. So it's just, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Catherine O'Hara is a bit of a loss. She was absolutely fantastic You don't think about how many iconic roles she's actually been in, but yes, it's definitely up there. It was quite a big loss, considering that she wasn't particularly old either, so it wasn't very nice. Mary?
Yeah, I would just echo the comments about Catherine O'Hara. It's particularly painful to watch someone who's so gifted and naturally sort of at physical and verbal comedy and just know that person's no longer with us. But I think because over the past few years, I have watched a lot of Michael Keaton in quote-unquote serious roles, so like Birdman, The Founder, that sort of thing. Actually going back to this and watching how good he is at physical and verbal comedy, it's actually such a joy to watch an actor who's clearly having the best time doing what they're doing.
Yes, he doesn't like aim for the wall and miss in any way here.
No.
Yeah, for me, I had watched it 2 years ago. I did a rewatch before the follow-up Beetlejuice came out, just to remind myself. I've got this nice Blu-ray box set of Tim Burton films. It includes this one as well. So it was.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Nice. Yeah, it's actually quite a nice wee set. It's got like a couple of the Batmans and Pee-wee and Mars Attacks and things like that. So it's about 7 or 8 films on it. So it's actually a pretty decent wee set. So yeah, so I watched it again yesterday for this, just to refresh my memory, because I'm at a certain age where I can't remember things from the last week, never mind something I've watched 2 years ago, and I can't talk about it in any way, which is it's a good idea to watch something, because I watched it and I was like, nah, don't remember that. So I just had to go through it all again. So it was good. I really enjoyed the comedy on this rewatch more than anything else, because it is, as you have said, Mary, kind of genius level comedy from Michael Keaton, completely unhinged. So yes, it's quite interesting. So the tone of the film, how would you describe it? Would it be sort of like an arcade comedy, a fairy tale, or is it something else?
I don't really know. It's a little bit of everything sometimes when you watch it, because there's just a lot going on, really. It definitely falls in the dark comedy humour, because I know a lot of people who are thin-skinned will not like this film at all. But I would say, I mean, I guess there is a little bit of that, and not gothic romance, but obviously the couple, obviously the mainlands do love each other and want to be, and they think that's heaven until these horrible people barge into their house and they realise it's not so good after all. So I think the tone is just very dark, moody, very dark as always, because Tim Burton does like to go down to the kind of dark path. But then you've got the moments of like those big pop of colours and all the kind of animation, and you're just like, what am I watching?
Yeah, it does switch itself up a wee bit from time to time. Well, it definitely does. What were you, Mary? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a good satire as well. I think Tim Burton likes to send up capitalist America, if you want to call it that, and the whole sort of white picket fence ideal. And this feels like very much it plays into that sort of thing. I think from the sort of opening overhead shots where you get the little model village and it's showing you this kind of like slice of perfection, and then obviously you realise it isn't. It reminded me of Edward Scissorhands actually when you watched it again, because it's kind of similar sort of opening tracking shot. So yeah, I would say it's like a satire, but it has all the elements of like dark comedy, romance, sort of like gothic alternative kind of indie. And I guess you could argue it's just like a way of sort of establishing him as an auteur. I know that auteur theory is a bit dated for people that talk about film, but I think he is one of the ones you could talk about quite obviously in that particular line of thought.
Yeah, there are still a few directors around you could probably regard in that same space, but like you say, it's not very many now. It seems to be out of fashion a wee bit. But yes, I kind of see that. So let's dig into the characters and the performances. So we have the Maitlands, which is Adam and Barbara, played by Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis. Now the film starts with them. So how do you think they ground the film's chaos?
I don't really know how to answer that. I think they're, I guess, the normal ones. I say the normal ones in the film. I guess they're the ones that kind of, their ideal life is, you work, you have a family, you do that. And I think they're kind of thrown into this chaos. So I think they ground it that way. But I think one of the really sweet moments is when they realise that they're going to let the Deets stay, because they've kind of fallen in love with Lydia, and they kind of take her on as their child basically, and look after her. So I think that's kind of like the way they kind of ground it
Yeah, I think they're so in love when we first meet them. Like, they keep kissing each other, and they're dressed sort of like kitschy. Like, she's in like little floral patterns, and their house is a bit kind of like kitschy as well. And I think that it sort of sets it up nicely for, as Amy says, them being kind of the normal ones, even though obviously they're going to be dead for most of the film. They're the sort of like perfect like couple who had this sort of like, you know, white picket fence dream of what their life's going to be like. So, but obviously the chaos is sort of underlying with the little hints at like the house getting sold or potentially being sort of sold from underneath them, and Adam's dedication to his little model village, which you just feel like there's just rumblings there just from the offset. So I think it sets it up for like mischief and fun, but obviously a lot of love as well.
Yeah, we can see right at the very start that they are very much in love, and they obviously chose to have a vacation at home, and they didn't want to go anywhere. They wanted to spend 2 weeks together. And there's like just one wee line in there about something to do with kids as well, you know, a family with kids, and they have a wee look, and there's obviously some sort of past in there between them. Something's happened, or something is, you know, for some reason they can't have children, and that's never gone into really in any way. It's just this one line, and you just get this idea that, oh, something's happened here, but they're still very much in love, and they're still very much totally want to spend time with each other. I mean, it's a bit of a commitment to spend a fortnight with another person just in the house and not doing anything else. You know, that can be kind of
lockdown ruined many a marriage. Let's just say that.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, Amy, the Maitlands, after they die, and this isn't a spoiler for the film in any way, this is the whole, you know, the whole reason behind the film in the first place. They meet Lydia, who is played by Winona Ryder. Now, why do you think that this character of Lydia has become so iconic? I'm thinking maybe she's around about 16 years old, or she's meant to be about 16 years old in this film. So why do you think it's such an iconic role now?
I think it's still iconic. I think it's people look at her and think, oh, I actually belong somewhere. It's that kind of sense of, oh, I'm not the only one that's weird and likes black or who wants to act that way. And she's also like an angsty teenager, really. So she's obviously wanting to like break all the rules. And but I think some of the lines that she has are just perfect. I think there's like a line where I think her dad says, we'll build you a dark room in the basement. And she goes, my whole life is a dark room. And it's just like, it's like that. Or when she goes, I am strange and unusual. And I think that's it. I think it's the memes, but I do think she plays it perfectly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a star-making role, I think. There's a few in this film, but that's definitely one of them. What do you think, Mary?
Oh, I mean, I went to school with at least 4 girls who had that fringe. For starters, like everyone wanted the pointy, like Lydia fringe, and I think it's just it's an outlet for people who maybe felt like they weren't popular in school, maybe felt a little bit alternative, maybe felt a bit more intuitive and emotionally sort of in tune, because obviously Lydia is the only character that can see Adam and Barbara. So for people that maybe just felt like they felt a little bit more, she seemed like the sort of perfect vessel to kind of channel all of your sort of teenage angst, as Amy has said. Yeah,
definitely. It's part look and part attitude, I think, makes the character really sort of stand out. But like you say, it speaks to a lot of people who are seeing someone like yourself on screen, whereas you don't in a lot of 90s stuff, especially the likes of the John Hughes type American comedies, the sort of the school comedies. You may occasionally get one person like that, but more often you don't. There's more sort of standard tropes in there. So having seen this, and the fact that it was a very early role, Winona Ryder as well, I think really works to her benefit and to the film's benefit as well. I think it really does. Given the fact that Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice is only on screen for just over 17 minutes, how does he manage to bring this character to life, be both hilarious and grotesque and charismatic all at the same time? How do you think? How the hell does he manage that, given such limited screen time?
I think it's as soon as he is on, like he is in your face. He just doesn't shut up. he keeps going with the jokes and the jokes, like when he first meets the mainland and he's like obviously trying to like kiss Barbara and then tries to dress the same as, and just trying to get hired, and then gives them this like weird review that he went to, is it Juilliard? And I think that's it. I think his energy is just like, it's all of a sudden he gets massive pop of energy and you're like, oh. And I think that's why it is memorable. I think although he's only in for 17 minutes, which is crazy because the film is called Beetlejuice, he's not really the main character of that film, but he just, his energy is just so high, and everything he delivers is just hilarious.
Absolutely. I think I read that obviously Michael Keaton had a big part to play in the actual design of the character as well. Like he wanted to look like he'd stuck his fingers in a socket, I think is what he said. So, and that look definitely, that's exactly what he looks like. It's, you know, the hair's insane. His teeth are like rotten, like to the point of like they look like they could just fall out. The suit is obviously like just really iconic, and every time he appears on screen, like the lighting kind of shifts. You get that like nice neon green glow sort of going on behind him. And I think it's the mix of the physical comedy, because he's like throwing himself around as if he's made of rubber, but also like the sort of slightly sleazy but kind of charming comedy that he goes for as well. And as I say, looking back on this now, having watched him in more serious roles, like more recently, the career that Michael Keaton's had is amazing, like genuinely like so full of like thrills and spills. But this performance really stands out because he just completely owns the screen. Like you spend so much time waiting for him. It's like an hour before you first actually see him. So you're waiting. And then when he does appear, it's like Amy said, he just bursts onto the screen, and then you're like watching him, like your eyes are going everywhere. You can't take your eyes off him because he's just so nuts. He's like no other character, comedy, horror, whatever you want to call it, you've ever seen. It's so distinct.
Yeah, and like you've both said, he just goes from it right from the word go. There's no real build up or anything. He just goes completely nuts right from the first sentence, and then he does this very, like you say, he does this very nice voice where he talks about, you know, I spent time in Juilliard and all that kind of thing, and that completely throws you right away because you don't know what to expect. You don't know what he's going to do next, and it's just amazing. Like I say, he chose clothing from different periods as well to try and make it look as if he's someone who's been about for centuries, and the hair and makeup and everything just adds to the craziness. And he was so successful in that role that when he was cast as Batman, people were going, you can't have somebody like that as Batman. Maybe the Joker, but you can't have somebody like, not thinking, wait a minute, he's an actor. He acts. He inhabits a role. You know, they believed that that's what he was actually like in real life because he was so convincing with it as well, which just kind of blows your mind. I just couldn't get my head around that when I read about that, and just think, so unusual. Lydia's parents here, obviously you've got the father and what she regards as the evil stepmother as well. Are they the villains? Are they the villains in this piece, or are they just like brash New Yorkers, or what do you think of them?
I don't think they're villains. I think they are kind of brash New Yorkers. I mean, you know, she does say that she didn't want to come. She was like, you bought this house and now I'm stuck here. And it's that whole argument of like, she wants to redecorate, and if you don't let me decorate, I'll go mad and take you with me. And I think I just don't know, they're villains. They're just very, again, New York. They've gone from New York, they've taken their lifestyle there and then brought it over to like this new town where it's very, very different. And they're obviously very artsy. And also they bring Otto along with them as well, which is another little gem.
I love him. Yeah.
I do love him.
Yeah. I mean, how can you hate Catherine O'Hara? The minute she appears on screen, and she's just totally fabulous in red and black. That's her kind of colour scheme for the entire film. She rolls her eyes at her husband, saying she'll finally have a decent space to cook, and he's prattling on about, oh, I'm going to have time to think. Like, he just keeps talking about wanting to sort of like put his feet up in his desk and all that sort of thing. I think they're just sort of classic fish out of water, which is very Tim Burton in itself. So whereas Lydia maybe feels like a fish out of water back in New York, where everything I assume is all like preppy and artsy and like popular girls, she finally finds her place here, whereas they're obviously just not suited to life in the sticks, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, they come across as being very arrogant and self-absorbed, and that's the people that they hang about with, and that's the people that they aspire to be at the same time. It's like an interesting wee bit for the husband here, you get a slight undertone that he may be there because something happened. He's had some sort of a breakdown or something. Again, it's never really gone into in any great detail, but he just wants to go there and basically look out the window.
Look at birds.
Just do very sort of simple things. It's as if he's kind of snapped in a way, and something's happened with his professional life back in New York, so he has to kind of reset and get into sort of a countrified life, which is an interesting take. But with the film being so short, they don't really follow up in a lot of these strands that they kind of mention because it just isn't the time. I think that's probably what it is. So as well as all those, we've got various other supporting characters in here. Who was your favourite of the sort of the minor supports here?
I think Otto's my favourite.
Yeah,
I think he comes away with some things and you're just like, I wish I had a friend like that.
Do you not think it's a bit weird that he actually lives with them for most of the time as well, and he's got his own dressing gown and stuff?
He just makes himself a home wherever he wants, to be honest.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I love Otto too, but I also like their caseworker. She's sort of sassy and cranky and chain smokes her way through a slit in her neck as well.
Yeah.
And I looked her up, and she was actually like quite a big star. Like she'd been in films with like Spencer Tracy and stuff like that back in the 30s and 40s. So I like the fact that Burton has sort of brought her back in for a kind of like she's the sort of lead in the afterlife, as it were, in the same sense that she could like lead all these actors because she's had this previous kind of career and was obviously very successful. So I thought that was quite a clever wee bit of casting.
Yeah, Tim Burton's known for that, isn't he? Bringing back male and female actors from sort of some of his favourite ones and things like that, and putting them into some of his films, which is a very nice thing to do. Obviously, the big one was Vincent Price as well, which he worked extensively with him, and he really liked his company as well, which was always really nice. I mean, well, you guys have kind of stolen the two sort of main.
Sorry.
No, not at all. No, this is why I'm last, because I've got the least amount to say, which is actually all right. I'm quite happy with that. It's all right. So, talking about the sort of the writing and the humour, obviously this is, I don't think it was an original Tim Burton story, but he definitely made it his own in a way through the style that he employed for it and everything. So, how do you think it blends the various elements of comedy? So you've got like sort of there's very sort of dark humour here when you actually look at it, but there is also like pratfalls, slapstick, things like that as well. How do you think it blends all that? Do you think it's all in the writing, or is it the writing and the performance, or whatever? What do you think?
I think it is part of the writing, but I think as well, like I said, Michael Keaton had a lot to do with that role. So I think the actors probably did have a lot. Maybe they wanted to go in a slightly different direction. So I think it's a bit of both. It is very dark. There are some really dark jokes, which my mum just absolutely hates if I turn around and start saying them. Like when like Otto says like, oh, when if you commit suicide, you're like, is it civil service? Your civil service in the afterlife, and then you meet Miss Argentina, and I'm like, yep. So I think that's it. I think it does work, but I think given the actors obviously that chance to give, like, I guess, flex their muscles a little bit. But I think if Michael Keaton hadn't been as heavily involved, I'm not really sure if it would have landed quite well. Like, I don't think anyone else could have played that role.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. Yeah. I also just really like the silly humour. Like, see in the afterlife when they're the waiting room and you get the wee burnt out husk, and he says, "Do you want a cigarette? I'm trying to cut down myself." Every time I see that, I absolutely got myself. Like, there is something so funny. It looks like tonight when you burn a cheese toastie and it's what's left on the grill. Like, that's what that wee thing looks like. I absolutely love that line. I think it's so funny. But I think Amy's right. Like, you couldn't picture anyone else in the lead role. And I think it's also testament to the likes of, like, Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis as well, who are kind of playing it sort of straight as well, and that's really hard to do when someone is being so funny. As well, like how they all kept a straight face, like for example in the famous like dinner table dance scene and stuff like that. I don't know how anyone got through that without dying of laughter, but I think there's a mix of Michael Keaton being able to take it up to 100, but also everybody else sort of playing it relatively straight faced, which allows him to then sort of take it to the next level, kind of thing.
Yeah, apparently Alec Baldwin was always pushing for his character to be given more sort of comedic elements to do, and he was always suggesting things, and he was always put down by saying, no, you are the straight guy in this. You know, you're the sort of the voice of sanity and all this, even though you're dead. So he's the one that's reading the book and trying to figure out what they're actually doing and what they need to do in order to try and basically get these people out of their house and everything. So yeah, he was kind of put back, and he wasn't very pleased about that, and he didn't like his performance so much because of that, because he wasn't allowed the same sort of freedoms that the likes of Michael Keaton was given, and to a certain extent with Gina Davis and Catherine O'Hara, where they were given a certain amount of license just to go for their character, which again, you know, it was for the betterment of the film more than anything else, and I think it works because of that. I don't think it's a bad Alec Baldwin performance. I think it's a good one.
No. Somebody's got to be the straight guy in all of this. There needs to be somebody, because I think if everyone was outrageous, it would probably not work as a film. So somebody kind of needs to be that one person who's kind of driving the narrative a bit on the sort of more straight and narrow.
Yep, definitely. Yep. What was your favourite sort of visual gag in the film? What sort of kind of hit the nail on the head for you?
I think I love the bit at the end where he's obviously trying to marry Lydia. And he's obviously trying to get rid of everyone. And he comes out with this like weird arcade-looking game. And what I kind of love with Tim Burton, there's always going to be Easter eggs about future projects. And one of the things I noticed just a couple of years ago was on the top of like the carousel, Jack's head is on it.
Yep. Which
I had never noticed. So that's really good. But I think that's probably one of my favourite bits. He's like this weird arcade carousel thing. And I'm just like, what is going on?
Nice.
I love that as well. I love when Barbara is hanging in the closet and she's ripped her face off, and Otto and Delia scream, but it's because the closet's so small. It's not because she's looking really terrible, which I just think is so good.
Yeah, I liked the scene which is in the waiting room, and Beetlejuice is sitting there beside, I think it must be some sort of burlesque dancer or something, and he's stroking her leg. And then the top half of her sitting on the other side and hits him and she said, "Oh, I didn't see you there." I just kind of encapsulates everything from it. I just thought that was so funny. The fact that he's dead sleazy, but he's just completely ignorant of everything that's going on around him at the same time. So yeah, it definitely works very well. The visual style of this film is a real sort of mixed bag, but in a good way, I would say. So you've got a lot of very practical effects in here, and you've got like stop motion and things like that as well. How do you think that all kind of marries together, or does it not really matter?
I don't think it matters. I think when it comes to Tim Burton film, I think nothing matters. I think he manages to, it blends well within the film. Like the bit where once they've like died, the Maitlands have died, and he goes to open the door and falls out, and then you get the sandworm, and you're like, "Whoa, this is a completely different world," because it's not, he's got the puppet. I think it blends well. I do like the fact that I guess the afterlife is a little more, it's a lot weirder. There's a lot more to play there with it, like all the prosthetics and like the set designs, and again there's that colour. So yeah, but I don't think it does blend, but I don't think it needs to blend. I think that's the beauty of this film. It doesn't need to.
Yeah, I think because Burton himself is so eccentric, like this kind of eclectic taste is reflected in his visual style as well. I actually wrote down this film is part Funfair haunted house, part Escher painting, part Hammer film, and I feel like that kind of sums up the various visuals that you get at points during the film. But I think you're kind of along for the ride, and I think the more you watch of the stuff, you just accept that what you're going to see is probably going to be a little bit weird and a little bit fantastical, but actually that's the joy of it.
Yeah, I think maybe he's just taken the fact that it's a fairy tale more than anything else, so he can do pretty much whatever he wants with it. He doesn't need to stick to a particular style, whereas in some of his later works, there is a certain style that has to go all the way through the film because the film demands that. But here, he's just making it up. He's doing whatever he wants, which I think works particularly well because you don't really know what to expect from one scene to the next. It could be something, could be going back to something, or it could be doing something completely different, and you're just kind of along for the ride more than anything else. We talked obviously about some of the creatures and things like that, and there's a lot of creatures in the afterlife compared to the actual scenes in the house. So what do you think sort of the vision for the afterlife was kind of taken from? Do you think it was taken from anything, or do you think that it's very deliberate in its chaos?
I think it is very deliberate. I think any other movies that you see regarding the afterlife is all, oh, you go up to heaven and you get everything you ever want, and you know it's perfect. And basically, they're just saying, well, no, because once you die, you've got a certain amount of points or whatever, help tokens or whatever it was, because you've only lived, and it all kind of depends on, I guess, how you lived your life, how much help or how much benefits you get. So I think, I mean, they talked about, he said, obviously, if you die, you're going to go be a civil servant. And obviously, Miss Argentina says, if I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't have had my accident. And you're like, so I think I think it all depends on the circumstances of what happens to you. But I think it is very done on purpose, because I think most times you see it being perfect, and he's shown that actually it might not be so perfect after all.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of bureaucracy in the afterlife. Like, you have to read a book, you have to take a ticket out of a machine, you're stuck in a waiting room forever. So yeah, I think honestly, like, some of the sort of like creatures, if you want to call them that you see in the afterlife, look like they're drawn from a weird like child's dream or something like that. But I really like the fact that, as Amy says, it's not this sort of like perfect angels playing harps kind of situation. It just like, it literally looks like, you know, middle office management, which feels like, yeah, that's a fair shot.
It's like, head off to HR when you're finished.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. You get given the company handbook and a chat with HR afterwards. That's literally it.
Yeah, it reminds me sort of like of dystopian futures and things like that. It's the kind of bureaucracy that you kind of get there as well, that everybody knows that the system doesn't work particularly well, but you have to still follow the system no matter what actually happens. And you know, I really like the sort of the system where they have like the numbers and you have to take a ticket, and they're up at number 3 and he's got the ticket is like 9 billion or something like that. It's just, it works particularly well there. It's a nice wee touch, and everybody can relate to it. That's the thing. It doesn't matter if you have seen a horror film. Everybody knows what bureaucracy is like when you go into an office and you're having to wait to get seen by somebody. Everybody at some time has done it, whether it's been like when you used to have to go and get your car taxed, or if you're in the waiting room to see a doctor or whatever. It's exactly the same thing. It's cold, it's horrible, you're surrounded by weirdos, and you know you're going to be there for quite a long time.
That's it's a night.
One of Tim Burton's longtime collaborators is Danny Elfman, who did the music for this film. What did you think about the score, and how did it shape the energy and the pace of the film?
I mean, I love Danny as well. I know the two of them come together really in most films. I love the score of this film. I think it's probably one of my favourites. I actually bought the vinyl because I loved it that much, because I could just listen to it forever.
Oh, nice.
It's so good. And I think it does set the pacing really well, because it starts off and the music's like, oh, that kind of happy, cheery music. You know, you've got the picket fence and the sun is shining. And as you go through the film, it gets a lot more sinister. And you can hear it. And obviously, I think different characters have got like a little bit of not their own soundtrack, but I've noticed that more and more, that when Beetlejuice comes up, there's a sound that comes up, or when it's like Lydia. And I think that's why it works so well. I think it helps kind of you understand. I don't think it tells you exactly what's coming, but I think it helps you kind of, I guess, understand a bit more what's happening.
They all seem to have their wee sort of mini themes, don't they?
Yeah, it's whimsical when it needs to be, and spooky and frantic and chaotic when it needs to be. So the minute you hear the score from this, even if you were just listening to it on its own, you would know it was Danny Elfman straight away. And if you've watched Beetlejuice often enough, you would know it was that film. But yeah, I think it lends itself perfectly to the pace, because actually I didn't realise this film was only like 90 minutes long. It's super tight for everything that it packs in, and I feel like the score really helps move that along as well, because as Amy said, you get certain pieces of music that repeat themselves and you kind of think, okay, well maybe this is to do with this character, or maybe it's heading in a certain direction. So I think it's an excellent collaboration as always between the pair of them.
Yeah, it reminded me very much of sort of musical theatre in a good way, not in sort of Amdram, you know, jazz hands kind of way. It's very much, it drives the story on, and you get that right from the sort of the overture at the start. It's very propulsive, it's pushing you forward, and it works very well with the visuals, where you're seeing the overhead of the town, and then it subtly changes into the overhead of the model leading up to the house, and that works perfectly. And it doesn't really give up at all. You're still getting that sort of same propulsive beat going through it all the time. And I just think it's a sort of perfect example of a Danny Elfman score, because, I mean, I've banged on about this before. You can listen to this without actually watching the film. It's one of these ones. It's a very good soundtrack, very good music in it as well. In contrast to that, there is pretty much extensive use of Harry Belafonte and calypso music. What did you think?
I was wondering when we started chatting about this.
Contrast? Yeah.
The beginning, I didn't notice it, but it is the dinner party scene that everyone, is kind of usually talking about, and it's just like it's like you just plucked out like a random song going, that's the one we're going to use.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I feel like it's just so random. Same, we did it with the new one as well, where he put a like random song in the middle of the film. I like it because I think it's a bit of a change from the score, but it's like so different. It kind of gets you to wake up a little bit, and then you go back to the soundtrack.
They're very earwormy, the Harry Belafonte songs that he picks, because I have both of them. I've had both of them stuck in my head ever since I've rewatched this. And it's funny because, like, I think is it Jump on the Line's been used by the National Lottery at the moment for their adverts. But every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, Beetlejuice. Because it's funny how these songs obviously are part of his like very illustrious career and very important career as an African American singer. But when I think of these songs now, I think of Beetlejuice, nothing else.
Yeah, totally. I think it works really well because, like you both said, it's a contrast to what you're getting with this soundtrack, and it just starts. There's no sort of preamble. Well, there is a wee bit because you see that Adam is playing music, and that tends to be like calypso, but it's kind of in the background, and it's not really sort of brought to the fore until you actually get to the dinner scene, and then it's just right there. And you've got to think, how did they come up with that, and how did they think, we'll stick a calypso song in there? Yeah, of all the things to choose. It works perfectly. So in addition to the sort of soundtrack and the songs, you've got like a very nice sound design working here as well. So how do you think that's kind of integrates with everything else that's going on, both the visuals and the audio here? You think it's nice wee touches in there?
I think it is. I think there are some really good kind of sound bites and sound, but I think it's all done with a purpose. I think, again, Tim Burton doesn't put something in a film not on purpose. For him, it has to have a purpose. If it doesn't have a purpose, it's not going in the film. So I think everything's in it, and I think everything is drawn to it. Like even when like the soundtrack, when he's like driving the little toy car and he crashes it, and yet you still hear it, although it's in the model, or he kicks down the tree or things like that. I think they're intentional, but they're there because they're supposed to be there.
I think, just to echo what Amy said, everything has a purpose, but I love the fact that, as I said, to me this feels like a Fun Fair haunted house, and you get all the sound effects that you could possibly want in that aspect, creaking doors, scuttling across floors, spooky ghost sounds. Like it's everything you could want from that type of film.
Some of the character beats have these sort of sound elements as well. You get wee noises whenever Beetlejuice appears, for instance, which is quite nice. And it adds to the comedy of it as well, which is always very nice. So yes, it's good. Death is a comedy. That you get some films that feature certain death elements in it, but this one kind of just goes for it. It's right the way through the film. Death is the main comedic element of this film. So how does it make it funny without trivializing it in any way, still having an important element?
Well, you don't really see, people have died, but there's not that kind of visual of how they died. So you know that the main one's got a car accident and that's it, and they're wet. And I think that's why I think it's not really talked about. They're dead. That's all you need to know. And it's kind of like, let's move on and let's go into the funny things. So obviously when they're trying to figure out if they are dead or not, and obviously she's on the bed and he pulls the cover back and you realise she's levitating and falls down. It's just little things like that. But I think it's not trivialized. It's obviously everyone knows it comes eventually. But I think they don't show the kind of the horrible part of it. It's just about what happens next and how they're going to survive.
Yeah, I think that it comes back to that notion of bureaucracy, isn't it? It's like all of the practical things that you would have to know or they assume that you would know after you had died. Like, I love the scene with the football team when they come in while they're having a meeting and they're like, "Coach, I don't think we survived that crash." And it's such a throwaway line, but it's so funny because there's this notion that, like, yeah, a young person, you maybe don't assume that it's coming for you, sort of thing. So I think it does a good job of showing all the sort of small details that change in your life after you pass away, but it doesn't do it in a way that ever sort of like dwells on the sad part of dying, obviously.
Yeah, I suppose it's called gallows humour more than anything else, isn't it? That's what you find that in these sort of situations. I mean, I've been to more than one funeral where there's been a bunch of people piss themselves laughing because they're trying to get through the day more than anything else, and that's what they use. They use humour in order to actually do that. So I can kind of see what they're doing here, and I don't think it trivializes death in any way. It just says everybody dies at some point, and this is an idea of what it could actually be like for everybody. Some sort of bureaucratic hellscape. So yeah, I think it works really nicely in that sort of way. There's a wee bit in here about art as well, because you have Delia, who is a major New York artist. It's very sort of avant-garde, it's very strange sort of stuff. So when they come into the house, they want to change everything that's actually there in the house as well. So how do you think the sort of art versus the sort of normal sort of elements, how do they kind of work together? Do you think is it intentionally a contrast and a clash, or is it just trying to say something about, well, it could be saying something about the time as well, because there was a very big push, especially in the likes of metropolitan areas like New York, to embrace art, and art became a commodity and sold for, millions of dollars and things like that. So what do you think it sort of says about that, or is that just an aside?
I'm not really sure. Obviously, we know that Delia's an artist. Well, yeah. She is an artist, but then obviously her manager says that he's lost so much money. She must not be a very good artist. And yet her art style fits in with the film, which is really interesting. Like, the stuff that she's making fits in with the film. I don't really know. Like, to me, I think when people come from, again, like New York metropolitan, I think they can take that lifestyle wherever they go, and that's not really how it happens. But yeah, I'm not really sure.
I don't know if it fits into the whole sort of like consumerist, like satire kind of vibe that he's going for as well. One thing I will say is that when her sculptures start to come to life, it made me think of like a Ray Harryhausen type of like stop motion kind of thing. So that also does really tie in really nicely to the rest of the film. And it's like maybe Delia is more alternative than she thinks she is.
Yeah, there's a wee bit of a mix between her sort of art being sort of so out there and what she actually does with the house when she starts to remodel it, because she remodels it in such a way that on the top level she puts up a wall with a window in it, but there's no glass in the window. So when actually the camera pans out from them and they're sitting there, it actually just looks like a painting of a landscape as well, which is obviously a very sort of standard thing that you would have in big houses and things like that, but it's done in a different way so that it's actually the real life landscape that they're actually using. I think that was quite a nice touch. It kind of spoke to different types of art as well. And yeah, Mary, you're spot on with the Harryhausen reference here. They used to stop motion in order to get these things moving, and the fact that they used them in such a way that they became implements as well, I thought really worked very, very nicely indeed. Yeah. We've talked about the dinner scene, we've talked about the waiting room as well, the style and everything behind that. So Mr. Beetlejuice's introduction, when he is first on screen, what did you think about that? Is it a very good way to establish a character, Amy?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, as soon as he's introduced kind of slowly, because obviously there's like the leaflet that they first find. And then obviously Juno tells him about, what he did. And then there's that bit where he's trying to like eat the fly, but you don't really see him. Somebody's there until you realise it's him. So obviously when they have to dig him out, and all of a sudden he just kind of pops out in this like majestic way and flies in front of them. It's just so good. But I think I don't think he needs like an introduction, because I think, like I said, he comes in and it's just like 100 miles an hour, like he's in your face and you know who he is. Even though you hadn't met him previously, you're fully aware of what he's what he's going to do and what he's going to be like. And I think that's probably why you don't need an introduction for that character.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see him at, there's like a TV, like infomercial type of thing where he describes himself obviously as a bio-exorcist. I'm yet to find out what that actually means. So you kind of get like a hint that he's obviously trying to like parcel himself up as this, like, again, it comes into sort of consumerism thing, like paying for something that you don't actually need. But then as Amy says, when you do meet and he bursts onto the screen, he's chaotic, he's lewd, and he's obviously unhinged. And yet you feel so familiar with this character because he's been spoken about so often, or sort of in hushed tones, or people have been cut off before they say his name, obviously 3 times. So I just feel like it's a character that by the time you meet them, you're just so familiar with them and you're so ready for the chaos that he's about to bring. It's just, yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, there's so much build up, isn't there, to him getting introduced, that people speak about him in certain ways, and they just build up the character so you know what you're going to get. So you know it's going to be chaos. It's like chaos on a stick that you have before he actually comes on screen. And I really like the wee bit with the fly as well, because that kind of goes back to a horror film called The Fly at the time, when man changed places with fly, because when he pulls the fly down, you can hear the fly saying, "Help me, help me."
Yeah.
Just directly from the Vincent Price film of the time. So I thought that was particularly funny. It works really well. So in contrast to that, you have the big finale where he is going to get married to Lydia, and then you really see the sandworm in all its glory. Do you think that this sort of climax is earned, or does it just fit in with the absurdity of everything else that you've seen in the sort of previous 90 minutes of this film?
I think it fits in really well, the way to end it, which is like Barbara riding the sandworm and going to eat him. And it's just, I think it is perfect. I think it's just one of those bits where you're just like, yeah. But also it was going to be weird. Like, it wasn't going to end in some kind of like normal way. It wasn't like someone was going to come and just push him back to the afterlife. It had to be something really stupid. And I do think that scene where she comes in, it's just so funny. Every time I watch it, I just kill myself laughing.
It's such a good build up to it as well, because you've got Lydia in her iconic red wedding dress. But again, I feel like every girl wanted that dress at some point. But then you've got like all the different ways that he gets people to stop saying his name. Like it's like a zipper, and then it's like a steel plate, and then he's like, you know, it becomes like more and more chaotic. So yeah, I think it's totally earned. I mean, in a film like this, you sort of expect the unexpected, so you want that finale to be like, it's a bit like kind of what we were talking about previously about like really sort of like operatic or like hyperbolic finales to films. This is a film that totally deserves something like that. You'd be disappointed if he just went back down to the afterlife and it was like, you know, a wee puff of green smoke or something. You'd be like, oh, all that for nothing. Like it has to be big.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it has to be as big as possible, and I don't think they could possibly have done it any other way. Having had the sandworm coming in and out of it in various elements, so you kind of think, oh, this is going to be around for part of it, you know, the big sort of finale. It's going to be in there. And we sort of side note here as well is that they'd filmed some of the sandworm stuff before they actually cast Michael Keaton, and they had to actually change some of the design of it based around what he was wearing, the striped suit and all that, make it a wee bit more like him. So they had to sort of scrap some of the original sort of designs, which, you know, that's fair enough. That's all part of the process, isn't it? But they deliberately wanted to have a certain sort of B-movie style to this in terms of the effects and everything. So, I mean, they said they spent sort of, I think I've got a note here, it was around about 500,000 or something they actually spent on the effects, which is actually quite low considering you're talking about the late 80s here. Do you think that is for the betterment of the film, the fact that it looks so sort of scuzzy and grungy?
Yeah, again, it looks homemade.
Yes,
and that's the kind of term I love, and I think it doesn't age either, and I think that's why it's not like some really bad CGI, and I think that's the beauty of it. I think because it's homemade, and I think there's a lot of care that goes into making a lot of those pieces, and I think that's probably again why he does so well, because he wants the art to speak through a lot of his films, and in this one it does. But going back to the dress, yeah, Mary, you said about the dress, I still want that dress. Like that will be my wedding dress.
I love it. Are you going to go for the Fringe?
Yeah,
well?
totally. Yeah.
You have to. Yeah, you do.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll just echo what Amy said. The homemade thing is, I would, and I've always said this, I'd much rather have practical effects over CGI any day. It's why I can go back and watch The Thing and still get loads of enjoyment out of that. Because CGI dates a film really obviously, whereas like this, because you know it has got this sort of fantastical element to it, it's supposed to be a little bit weird, it just fits into the kind of style of the film. Whereas if you had like a CGI sandworm or something like that, chances are it probably wouldn't look that great now, and you wouldn't want something like that to detract from how fun this film is. Like the stop motion is what adds to the kind of the chaos and the sort of nonsense that's going on throughout it. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how do you think that this film shaped or foreshadowed the rest of Tim Burton's career?
I mean, I think very well. I think he's done very well for himself.
He certainly has, yeah.
I know he went on to do kind of Batman afterwards, but he still obviously used a lot of that in Batman. So although it still keeps with the whole Gotham City, it still has that kind of, again, homemade Tim Burton look. It doesn't look like any of the other Batmans that have ever came out. And it's the same, obviously, when he went on to do like Nightmare Before Christmas, where that's like stop motion, and he's done like Corpse Bride and things like that. And I think that's his thing. I think I got to go to the exhibit in London and got to see all his art. And one of the things that I learned there is that he is constantly drawing wherever he is. He'll be in a restaurant, he'll draw on a napkin, comes up with an idea, he draws constantly. And I think he believes that art is one of the things that should be protected forever.
Mary.
That's so like inspiring as well, because I think that a lot of directors, especially someone like Tim Burton that has such a distinct look and feel about his films, could maybe easily sort of rest in their laurels, but actually the fact that he's constantly still sort of drawing and evolving, that's like really refreshing to hear. I think this is simply him setting his stall out, right? I mean, there's loads of comparisons easily to likes of Edward Scissorhands. You see obviously the foreshadowing with Jack. And I love even his later works, like when he tried to do like Sweeney Todd as well and took on a big musical as well and made it his own like kind of style as well, right down to the casting. I think that this is just him kind of showing the world exactly who he is and going, well, you can join in and like it or not. Like he doesn't ever strike me as a director who's making things like for fans or for money necessarily. Like he's making it because this is what he wants to do with a certain project. Obviously money helps, and if you make money, so much the better, but you kind of get the feeling that he's just sort of like living out all of his kind of boyhood fantasies or like daydreams through the films that he makes, and I think you can definitely see that here.
Yeah, I think like that whole thing of being like the Hollywood outcast, I guess, because he does obviously take on people who in the past were told they would never be good. So like obviously he hires Johnny Depp, and Johnny Depp is like an oddball. I think Winona Ryder was told she'd never be an actress because she was ugly. I'd like to know who told her that. Yeah, she was told, you know, as a teenager, you'll never make it. You're too ugly to be an actress. And he's like the oddball of Hollywood. Like he doesn't want to be part of, I guess, the glitz and the glamour. He likes to be completely different and show that you don't need all that money and all that CGI to make a good film.
Yeah, definitely. It's like you say, it's very much a calling card for the rest of his career. It's set out as a stall saying, I can make a film in my own way, and it won't look like anybody else's film. If you see like a snatch of this film, you will know it's a Tim Burton film.
Yeah.
You know, in the same way that you if you watched a snatch of any other films, you wouldn't think it's anybody else's style there. It's very, very unique. And I think this is a very sort of early example of what he can actually do. And yes, he did go through the whole Batman and Batman Returns thing. So there was a time where he was, even when he was doing Beetlejuice, he was actually writing Batman at the time, and he was being offered loads and loads of sort of standard Hollywood fare, and he just turned it all down until Beetlejuice came across his desk, because he wanted something that sort of spoke to him, and it would be more something that he could actually work with, a story, rather than just a sort of standard comedy. So yeah, I think he makes very good choices, and he works with very good people as well, which is never a bad thing, let's face it. And he obviously attracts very good talent into him as well, because they can see that they're going to do something that's not just the norm. I mean, not many people get to work with Jack Nicholson, for instance. So, you know, it's a bit of a biggie. So yeah, it's really good. This film and the character of Beetlejuice has lived a life outside of just the film itself. It's kind of become a an icon within sort of pop culture. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because he's just really weird looking. People just kind of go, "Oh, what's that weird guy?" I think a lot of it as well is to do with like the striped suit. So it's like kind of the striped suit with the green hair with the weird teeth, and I think people just kind of go, "Okay, I want to be like that, or I'm gonna be as funny as that, or I'm gonna be as." I don't know. I think he lives on just because he's so funny. He's got so many good lines as well when he goes, "It's showtime," or "I'm the ghost with the most," whatever that's supposed to mean. So I think that's probably why he lives on, and I think I think he will continue. I think even people haven't seen Beetlejuice, if you show them a picture, they'll be like, "Oh, that's Beetlejuice."
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a mix of like the two things. It's the look and it's the sort of realization of the character. I think it's like the ultimate sort of Halloween costume alternative film fan. Like, it's a meme, obviously it's spawned a sequel. I think it's just that instantly recognizable character, whereas not many other sort of horror characters or sort of horror comedy characters have reached that level of just being so instantly recognizable that, as I say, even if you hadn't seen the film, you would know what the suit was, you would know who the actor was, all that sort of thing. So I think it's a mix of a few things, but yeah, he is one of the sort of enduring film characters of all time, really, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. And the fact that the film spawned a TV show as well, a cartoon, which ran for like 4 seasons as well. So
yes, I used to watch that. I forgot all about that until you said that. Yeah,
it's on the Blu-ray version. So if you get the Blu-ray Beetlejuice version, there's a few episodes on there.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you have that? Okay, right. Okay, I'm actually going to go watch
that. So obviously, like you just mentioned there was a sequel to this film. Do you think that the sequel was in any way a diminishing factor for the original film, or do you think it slotted in quite nicely to the sort of whole the Beetlejuice universe, shall we say?
I mean, I don't think it diminished the first one. I mean, I was not okay. I was like, I'm not really sure if I'm going to like this. It's going to be really weird. I don't really think we need a sequel. And I did enjoy it overall. I felt like that one has way too much going on in it. I mean, I enjoyed it, but there was far too many stories going on at the one time. I do love the fact, obviously, they brought back Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara to play, and obviously Michael Keaton came back. Obviously, I know that Dad's not back, and I know why, but I like the way that they kind of wrote him off. And I like the fact the funeral, it was like Dio. They were singing at the funeral. And I did like the addition of Jen Ortega. I feel like if anyone was going to be Lydia's daughter, it was going to be her. And she plays it so well as well. But I did enjoy it, but I will always go back to the first one.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I actually haven't seen it because I am a bit of a skeptic about these sort of things. Like, I really worry about like childhood's like nostalgia and things like that. See, when they say they're bringing out like, you know, like Hocus Pocus sequels, or like there's a new Practical Magic sequel coming out and things like that. And even like on a basic level, like The Devil Wears Prada 2, I'm just like, oh, I just had the joy of the first one, and I'm worried is going to be replaced by something that's like so obviously done to make money. So I must admit, I've not seen it. I could be tempted to watch it this Halloween, like this time it comes around, but I'm a bit worried that it just wouldn't hit the same notes as the first one.
It kind of has the same sort of manic energy that the first one does. There's a lot more of Beetlejuice in the second film.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, you get a lot more.
It does work. Yeah, and there is I won't spoil it for you, obviously, Mary, but there's a very good sort of final event sequence as well.
Okay.
I just pissed myself laughing all the way through. It's just,
and Amy's laughing as well, so it must be
good,
right?
Really good. Yeah.
It was just
and again, it was just out of nothing. Yeah. Aye. So yeah,
like,
I really liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
I could be persuaded.
Definitely.
Okay, so just to finish off, imagine, if you will, that you've come across somebody who has never seen or heard of Beetlejuice before.
Where have they been living?
Exactly, yeah. How would you pitch it to them, and would you be asking questions about whether they should actually watch it in the first place because they may not be like the right audience for it?
I don't really know how I would pitch it. First of all, if someone has never seen it, I'll be like, watch it at Halloween. It's a great Halloween film. I'll get you right in the mood for the spooky season. I think just kind of saying, look, go in. It's absolutely mad. You probably won't know what's going on half the time. but it's a good time film. Go along with the ride, and it's one of those films where you can just kind of sit, turn off your brain, and just relax and just enjoy the comedy, the visuals, just everything. And usually I say Catherine Hara's in it if you want to watch it. Winona Ryder's in it. Give it a watch.
Yeah, totally. Mary.
Yeah, I would just show them that clip of Catherine O'Hara going, "I will go insane and I will take you with me." And that's it. That's all you need to know. Just enjoy the rest of the film. She's so good in it. And I think, if someone was coming to it now, as I say, a bit like myself, like when I rewatched it, I hadn't seen all the Michael Keaton series stuff. It's like, do you want to see him do something different? And obviously this is about as different as you can get.
Yeah, there are a lot of elements even in his series career where he does these sort of manic turns and just wee sort of micro elements to performances, and you go, I've seen that bigger. I've seen him doing that to a certain extent. Yeah, it's like you say, Amy, it's one of these films that you would say to somebody, like, just enjoy it. Just have a laugh, enjoy it. It's perfect for a spooky film, but it's funny as well. And if you have a sort of certain left field sensibility to you, then you're going to laugh an awful lot at jokes about death and people committing suicide and all sorts of things like that. So yeah, give it a chance. You will not be disappointed in this film.
Absolutely.
And there's a musical now coming to London, so even better.
I know.
Oh, how exciting is that?
Yeah, I'm going in September.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah, I've been wanting it to come for ages, so when it finally got announced, although I'm disappointed who's playing Beetlejuice, but it doesn't matter.
Who is playing Beetlejuice?
I don't know who's playing Beetlejuice. The original Broadway Beetlejuice is Alex Brightman, who is like, go and just look him up on YouTube, singing the songs.
Okay.
He is like Beetlejuice 0.2. Like, he's amazing.
Okay.
But I think we're getting someone British, but yeah, it is coming to London, the musical.
Nice.
That'll be good fun.
Definitely. Well, I'm going down to London in December, so if it's still kicking about by then.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it'd be a good one to go to. Nice wee tip there. Thank you very much, Amy. So that is us for today. We have obviously discussed Beetlejuice to quite depth, I would say, more than anything else. So, Amy, where can our listeners find you online for all your stuff?
I just have an Instagram page, really. You can usually find me at the Final Girls Meetup, which is the film club for girls for all things horror, and I'm sure we do many other things as well as theatre trips and cinema trips. So I'm on Instagram, but I'm just a fan of films and I just love them, and it's just my escape in life. Nice.
I did have a look at your Instagram pictures, and there is an awful lot of pictures with you with horror celebrity icons as well. You beaming beside them as well, which is really nice.
Mr. Art the Clown.
I've honestly never seen someone so happy to be next to the Terrifier clown as Amy, but she's got all the kits. She's like, you come to our meetups and you have like the backpacks or the t-shirts or the accessories, like it's just, and there's just so much joy in your face when you're talking about him as well.
He's just the best. Do you know what? He's just the best. I got to meet, obviously, I've met Freddie as well. Obviously, I'd love to meet Tim Burton and Michael Keaton, but I feel like that's probably never going to happen. I have met Helena Bonham Carter. So I have met her.
Too.
But Instagram, TikTok. But I'm just a huge film fan, and I just love. I'm very eclectic on what I like and like different things. So it's just me.
Brilliant. For ourselves, you can find us at all the normal social media channels. Just have a wee search for Moviescramble. We have the website, moviescramble.co.uk, where all our writing can be found. And obviously there is the podcast, which you are obviously listening to at the moment. There is a reasonably large archive of material if you want to delve back and see. If you do it in reverse order, you see us getting shitter as you're actually going. But don't let that put you off in any way. Because I've got a feeling we may have actually peaked and we're starting to go downhill again anyway. So So yes, if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can find us at podcast@moviescramble.co.uk as well. We will be continuing with the Collab podcast in the next couple of weeks. We've got a wee schedule up for. There's quite a few happening all at the one time, and they will come out obviously in good time once I can get my arse in gear and actually edit the damn things. So it only remains to say, Amy, thank you very much. It was a really good pod. Really enjoyed it. And from myself, just to say, cheerio. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.